Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to I'm on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron, and this is episode 148. And today is going to be a great episode of Iron on Wrestling because our guest is the owner and promoter of Circle 6. Mike Gevorgian is going to be on the show. We're going to talk about how Circle 6 came to be and perhaps maybe some of the controversies that have arisen on the internet due to rumors and scuttlebutt. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to delve into Mike's love of professional wrestling. And we're back to this again. I wish I could say I didn't care anymore, but I don't. Okay. I don't appreciate or care for this interruption.
Pardon the interruption.
Well.
Bauer is in the house.
Look who's back.
In the building.
Yep.
In the place to be.
Uh-huh.
And it's good to be back, but I got to tell you, an absolute legend has retired. Phil Collins.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Wait, this is a real thing?
It's his final show.
Breaking news?
Breaking news. I just got off the phone with his agent.
Wait, okay. What are you talking about?
Okay, I didn't get off the phone with his agent. Somebody on Twitter said that, showed that he was saying goodbye in his final concert, and he got emotional.
What?
Yeah, I know.
But
Mm-hmm.
no, don't tell me this. I didn't even get to see him live.
I know. Neither did I. People said I look like him sometimes.
People said that you look like Phil Collins.
Yeah. Phil Collins, what a great career, though. And I'm bringing this up because not only is he one of my favorite artists of all time, but he was the WWE's favorite artist for a long time.
Yeah, they did use a couple tracks from him back in the day.
Including the theme to WrestleMania, the original WrestleMania.
Easy Lover, yes.
Yeah. So, there's that. But what happened? You're back from LA, or you're still there?
Well, I'm sitting across from you, so...
Okay, so still here.
I'm,
you got here. You're not there.
Yeah, I'm in Cleveland. Did you not listen to the show last week when I ran down everything that happened?
No, why would I listen to the show? I'm on the show.
You weren't on the show last week, though, so I figured maybe you were concerned about my health and well-being.
No, I have your cell phone number. You were texting me. Oh, I'm getting pissed now.
Yeah, I was getting pissed, yeah.
This is getting ridiculous. I'll go to the papers if I have to.
I never said that.
Me, Greg.
Okay.
I like going to the papers. Sometimes read the weather.
Why am I a baby? I don't...
You've just always been.
Also, what baby talks like that and says me and then inserts their own name?
Greg.
Baby named Greg,
Yeah,
huh?
baby Greg.
Okay. I don't think that's how I sound. I did have several cancellation. Okay. I'm glad. Why did I meow? I don't understand.
I think everybody does.
Listen. The fact of the matter is, I got a show in the can last week. I told everybody how Circle 6 went. Spoiler, if you didn't listen, it was great. And the cancellation was not great, but Mike helped make it a little bit better. Yeah. And I'm glad that we got to talk to Mike, which obviously you'll hear that interview later in the show and learn a little bit more about Mike and Circle 6 and his relationship with Nick Gage and what you can expect from Circle 6 going forward. Maybe some announcements of some future show dates, maybe perhaps in a town near you. Who knows? But it's a insightful interview, and I think we hear Mike's name a lot on the internet, on the Twitter, the wrestling Twitter a lot, and I think this interview will give you a little bit more insight as to who he is and why he wanted to create this promotion. But I am well. How has your week been without me? I'm sure sad, depressing, lonely.
One of the best weeks of my life.
Really?
Yes.
Somehow I doubt that.
An incredible doctor's appointment,
okay.
Which ended in the doctor looking over my numbers from recently and saying, well, this is remarkable.
Okay.
So there's that.
What was remarkable?
I think the size of it.
What were you getting examined?
Oh no, like the size that I was to what I am now.
Oh, your weight loss.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, and there's toning up, and then sugar intake is almost non-existent. So
that's good.
There's some good things going on, but I felt good enough to make my grand return to professional wrestling.
Oh, I did see that on the internet.
Did you?
Talk to me about what you've been doing with your grand return to the old pro wrestling.
Well, Mega Championship Wrestling, our friends out here in Northeast Ohio, are running an event in cooperation with the Friends of Murray Ridge Center, which is where I work and where you used to work.
For adults with developmental disabilities.
That's right. So the show proceeds, I believe, half proceeds go to Murray Ridge, half to the Mega Wrestling Organization. And it just felt like the right time. In some of the best shape of my life.
What made you decide to come back?
Well, I saw what those low-down, dirty, rotten, no-good dudes, Cash Inc., and their manager, Ken, were trying to do to a fine, upstanding, hardcore legend in this sport, Mad Dog Manson. And I just couldn't stand it, and I couldn't stand for it.
Yeah.
But, no, really what happened was I was in an office, and Cash Inc. came in with the manager, and they said to me and podcast superstar Jerry, a.k.a. Soda Pop Johnson, they said, how much would it take for you to come back to wrestling? And I said, I will never, ever come back to wrestling, not for any money in the world, not for any specific angle, not to work with a certain person, not creatively, not physically. There is no way in hell that I would ever return to wrestling. And they looked at me and they said, we'll give you $5. And I said, I'm in.
That's all it took.
Yep.
I mean, you can't do much with $5, so I don't know why you would just accept such a small amount of money.
I can get the most important mustache sniffing of my life.
You don't even have a mustache.
I don't even have $5.
Well, you will have $5.
Now I have $5.
You'll have to grow a mustache, so.
Yeah. How do I do that?
Stop shaving it.
Okay. But you don't want to stop shaving unless you have Manscaped.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about more Manscaped stuff later. Proud sponsor of the podcast here.
Man, I sure do love Manscaped.
Do you?
I love them after this week.
Yeah. was a good week.
Yeah.
Good week. They renewed the contract with us.
We're going to tell the people.
They're seeing consistent numbers from the
They're
show,
seeing
of course.
growth.
Yes.
They said, actually, I believe the line they used was, this is addition by subtraction. And what that means is it's an addition and then by a subtraction. The subtraction being all the hair on your balls. The addition being the mouths that are now attached to them, to those balls, hairless balls.
Making this a little weird. So you're returning to Mega.
Oh, yeah. So I got to shave my balls. And
okay.
what I always shave my balls for Mega.
So you're gonna. Why exactly do you have to shave your balls for a show for adults with developmental disabilities? I don't understand.
You always got to look good. You don't want to. I mean, come on, you shave yourself for any show, right?
I understand, but why specifically for the show? Do you plan on exposing yourself, or
No. But you never know what could happen. Okay. What if one of them pops out of my suit pants?
Why would that happen?
What if I didn't zip up? What if one of them comes out the bottom of my pant leg? They do hang a little low, and the show is about 4 weeks away.
Okay, when is the show? Let's not talk about your balls anymore. When's the show?
April 30th in Elyria, Ohio, at the Lorain County Community College World Arena.
Okay, and doesn't correct me if I'm wrong, the Murray Ridge Center and Mega accept donations for giveaways for the show? Is that something they still do?
Yes.
You said that with some uncertainty.
I have not been involved with anything with Mega Wrestling or any other wrestling or any.
Okay.
So really kind of it was just like, I feel good. Actually, the whole story is I had no plans to come back to wrestling. I randomly bumped into Brandon X, who is creative there. And I said, hey, how does one get booked on a Mega Wrestling show since you're bringing back the Breaking Down Barriers event? And he said, you got to go talk to the promoter. And I said, okay, who do I talk to? He said, me. And I said, okay. And he said, all right, so I'm probably free Tuesday or something if you're good. He was setting up an appointment for me to go talk to him. I said, well, can I just ask you now?
Yeah, it seems like it would be easier.
Yeah, because I'm not, requesting any money.
Sure.
I just want to know if I could be part of the Mega event.
Right.
So.
Well, I will.
There it is.
I will check into whether or not they're accepting donations for giveaways. And if that is a thing, if anybody is interested in contributing anything for giveaways for the adults of the Murray Ridge Center, contact me directly. I'll check into things with Mega and Murray Ridge, and we'll figure that out, because I'm pretty sure it's still a thing that they do to raise extra money for the center. But it's a good thing that you're going to be a part of that. I do not believe I will be able to be a part of it.
No,
I will be finishing up my vacation with my girlfriend that week, Nicole, and I'll be cutting it real close with my flight home. I had no idea that there was going to be a show that day, and I think it starts at 6:30.
Because you weren't booked.
I wasn't booked because I have a vacation pre-planned. I was asked about it.
A lot of times you just plan vacations over your bookings.
I had no intention to wrestle on that Saturday.
Why not?
April 30th, because I was spending it with my girlfriend on vacation at Walt Disney and Universal Studios. So I won't be getting in until 7 p.m. I believe the show starts at 6:30. So I don't know how well you do with time, but that does not work out mathematically.
You probably wouldn't be on until midnight.
Yeah, but the curfew is much earlier for the adults at the Murray Ridge Center. So
if you get nervous because there'd be so many people there, by the time you go on, there won't be anybody left.
Very true. Well, hopefully the show stays short.
Okay.
There are a lot of talented young men and women at Mega. I got to say, last Thursday, I posted a thing about it on social media. I did a seminar at Mega School. And
look who has to go ahead and one-up somebody else.
What are you talking about?
So there I am, making my grand return to Mega Wrestling on Tuesday.
Yep.
I get word Thursday. Oh, the other half of the podcast is here, and he's doing a seminar. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Dude.
They asked me about this weeks ago.
Mm.
I
couldn't stand it, could you?
Me and Brandon X were talking about it.
Oh, I bet you were.
We organized that day, which was this past Thursday, and 20 kids showed up to the seminar.
They have a lot of kids there, don't they? That was one
do.
thing that really surprised me. It smelled so bad when we walked into their facility.
What?
There was like 30 people there inside that building. I think everybody had either shit themselves or was getting ready to.
Okay.
You know how it's kind of like a funky smell when you
Sure.
go into like a locker room and everything.
Did you walk in the middle of training?
They had started something.
Okay.
It's hard to find that facility, isn't it?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
They actually said the same thing, that I probably would have a hard time finding it. So I was supposed to get there at 7, so I left extra early because I know how I am, and I was like, well, geez, I'll never find this place. So I left at like 6:15. It was a 15-minute drive, and I got there at 6:30 and just sat there because I found it, no problem.
Dude, I got so pissed when I went. Right before we went in, so like we were looking around for this, and there's 4 or 5 different buildings in the area that look like they could be that type of that training center.
Yeah.
So we're kind of looking around, and I tell podcast superstar Jerry, hit up the corner real quick so I can get me an energy drink. So we stop in this gas station, get this energy drink, and there's some older lady behind the counter, and she's trying to ring somebody up, and there's a mistake, and she has to go back and ring something. Took maybe 45 seconds for her to do, but she was getting a little flustered, and there came a guy into the store, and I believe he was inebriated, and he started saying, "What do you got? Just the new people working today? Oh, you girl can't even count the money back right." And I was standing there with podcast superstar Jerry, and I started getting upset, and I could feel my blood boiling.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. And like this woman, number 1, she was an older lady. Number 2, it was a problem that took probably less than a minute to solve and to re-ring. Number 3, this guy had said something a few times now. This was like, he had gone into a third time talking about how long it was taking, despite it not even really taking that long. So I want to turn around and say something, get belligerent, and hit this guy. But instead I reached into my pocket, grabbed out my wallet, and just handed the woman $5. I said, "You guys have a tip jar here?" And she's like, "No, why?" And I said, "I'm just going to leave you with $5. And she goes, "Okay, for what?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm buying myself some time here." She said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm buying something here. But I'm giving you something because it's not much, but this guy's an asshole behind me, and I can hear him, and I know you've heard him, and you have a lot to deal with, and you don't even have to work, probably."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, then all the time." So you always get idiots. Why do people harass people that are like behind the counter?
I don't know. I hate it. I deal with it at my place of business all the time with, there's a lot of women that I work at my job, and I'm above them,
Well, you think you're above everyone, so.
Not like that.
Wow, he admitted it.
I'm
above them.
I'm an authority figure at my job. Okay.
AKA corporate.
I'm not
sellout.
I'm not a corporate sellout. I'm gonna be there anyway, so I took a promotion, but these people come in to my job and they disrespect the women, and it's usually dudes doing it, and it's just like, how tough can you be to just come in and like talk shit to a woman? And just like, I don't understand the idea of going anywhere and trying to be rude or belligerent, and also that's not going to help your case.
No.
Like, if anything, now I'm going to work slower. Or
And you
I'm
look like an asshole.
Yeah, and I'm not going to try to accommodate you for being a dickhead. So, whatever. But you ended up finding the building eventually?
Yeah, we got to the building and everything was cool. I like what they're doing there with their little weekly TV show type of deal.
Yeah, they're doing a thing on YouTube, right? Or Facebook?
Facebook Live, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's an hour show.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my demands is I got to be first.
Mm.
A long list of demands.
Sure.
So I had to be first.
Very nice.
So working with some young guys. I don't know too much about them, but I'm looking forward to working with them. Their manager, Ken, is he's quite the eccentric character and something that right down my alley.
Yeah.
I could see myself getting married to him in a wrestling wedding.
Wait, what's Ken's character?
He's just like a manager that's very fashionable.
Okay.
He might wear a scarf.
Okay.
And quite possibly he had on makeup, although he's young, and so maybe his complexion is just really that good.
Okay.
And his skin's still tight on his face.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then good shoes. He's got good shoes.
That's very important to have good shoes.
Yeah. Hot shoes.
I will say that I was very impressed with the willingness of all the students at the mega school when I went up there Thursday. They're passionate about wrestling and they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my seminars are more speaking than drills. But I really like to get to know the kids that sign up for my seminar, and I want to know what they're passionate about, what they like about wrestling, what they want to learn in the seminar. And I usually front end the speaking and then run some basic drills for positioning, timing, stuff like that, and then sort of work on the things that the kids alluded to earlier. We did so much talking in this seminar, and the kids were so intrigued by my story, and I was intrigued by theirs, and we broke down stuff as we were going around, figuring out what they wanted to learn and sharing stories. That seminar started at 7, then 10:30 rolled around, and we hadn't ran one drill, one spot, but the kids loved it. And so it got to that point where I looked at Traxler, the promoter there, and I said, Jeff, can I come back in a couple weeks?
When these guys have woken up?
And shut the fuck up. No,
what?
I want to come back and continue the seminar and do the physical portion on a separate day. And Jeff said, yeah, whenever you want to come. And the kids started clapping. They got real excited about it. I was like, that's weird. Yeah. And so that's what I do at my seminars.
I wonder if they've ever seen one of your matches.
Okay. They have.
Then they would have never saw 2. Because if they would have saw 1, and you ain't going back for it.
Okay.
No?
So they are very excited to have me back sometime in the near future at Mega. And I do appreciate them investing their time in me, and I loved spending time with them. They were also creative with the promos that they did, and just I have a lot of faith in this Mega class, and that's what you get out of me with a seminar. I'm going to go above and beyond. I loved it so much. They paid me for one day. I'm coming back for a second free of charge. So if anybody wants me to do a seminar in the near future, I have a lot of April open. I kept it that way because I need a break from my body, but I am willing to come out and do seminars. So if you're interested, contact me on social media. Obviously, I'll give you all the plugs at the end of the show and we can work something out. But that was a fun experience at Mega. I'm glad you're back in wrestling. And I don't know, I'm glad to be doing the podcast again once again with you this week. And
yeah, it was a big void in my life for like a whole week.
I'm glad you owned up to it, you son of a bitch. But before we move on to the interview, wanted to touch on a couple of things that are happening in the world of wrestling and I guess pop culture. First and foremost, this weekend, a little bit of an incident at an award show. I think 1 or 2 people might have heard about it. Chris Rock and Will Smith had a little bit of a confrontation when Chris Rock proceeded to make a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, referred to her as potentially starring in the next G.I. Jane film. Will Smith was shown on camera laughing. Jada Pinkett was not particularly crazy about this remark, it appeared. And before you knew it, Chris Rock was laughing as Will Smith was headed in his general direction, and Will Smith proceeded to, in the words of Chris Rock, smack the shit out of him. This, of course, was censored on the ABC version here in America, but there's an international version that made the rounds where after the smack happens and Chris Rock says, Will Smith smacked the shit out of me, and is sort of laughing, probably in shock, Will Smith sits down and he says, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And then Chris Rock sort of responds, and Will Smith repeats it, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And got real awkward.
Yeah.
Chris Rock seemed to have lost his train of thought. He proceeded to say, that was the greatest night in the history of television, which didn't make sense. And then he proceeded to say that we're here today to do a documentary, and then he meant an award, and then the video clip cuts off because I didn't actually watch the show. I don't know who actually was watching. It was the Oscars, right?
Yes.
Okay. See,
it was not the Slammies.
Okay, it's not. Damn it! I thought
it was not the Alpackies.
Okay, but so yeah, I was not actually watching the Oscars when it happened. But obviously, like most people, I probably saw it on the internet. But
what the fuck is the internet?
There's a lot of people questioning this situation. Everybody has an opinion on the matter, whether or not Will Smith should have smacked Chris Rock in the face or not, whether Chris Rock should have told the joke. But a lot of people also are questioning, and I particularly see this in the wrestling bubble, was it real or was it fake? Aaron, what do you think about that situation?
Immediately when I saw, okay, so I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, went pee, came back, grabbed my phone, made sure I had shut my alarm off, and then I saw the thumbnail of Will Smith hitting Chris Rock. And I said, oh, man, that's cool. They finally did something to boost the ratings. They grab your attention. Some car crash TV here on the Oscars. Because it was no earlier than maybe 5 hours before that. I was watching college basketball with my dad. They're talking about the Oscars and the last time we watched them. And I said, I don't even know a movie that's nominated this year. I don't know any of those movies. And I don't know that I've even heard of them. But I'm not really like a movie guy anymore.
Same.
You know, younger, I liked movies a lot. But I don't know. That's just the whole thing, kind of over it. You know, it used to be a really big deal. And I used to make sure like I knew what outfit I was wearing to watch the Grammys or the Oscars from my living room.
Wait a minute, you would dress up for it?
Yeah. Not like in a suit, but
I
had to have an
weird.
outfit that, I don't know. I am kind of weird. So, it looked like it was, work. And the way Chris Rock leaned in and had his arms behind his back. Yeah, it looked like. And then Will Smith. Okay, so here's another thing. Like when I slap people, the most important thing is you don't want to get hit in the ear when you're taking a slap from somebody in wrestling. So I always pride myself on never connecting with that ear. And Will Smith's smack was perfect. Right across, the cheek where you want. It was all meat.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But he had some funky, like, karate stance that came out of it after, like, he hit it.
Yeah.
And then he pimp walked off.
He sure did. He had a little bit of a strut to him.
Yeah.
But in the aftermath,
yeah,
you changed your mind. You didn't think it was fake.
No. Once I saw him screaming from the seat, because that's the uncensored version is the only version I saw for the first hour.
Yeah.
Because I just kept rewatching it, and then I started reading about it. I was up until like 5 a.m, and then I finally went back to bed because I just kept reading and watching it over and over, and it made me sick to my stomach at first. I didn't like it.
But I mean, I didn't feel sick about it. I just saw it and I was like, my first thought, because when I first saw it, so Gargano sent me this clip.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is random. And then when I saw it, I thought at first it was a bit, right?
Yeah.
When the smack goes down. I thought, because I couldn't tell from the initial clip, I thought he punched him in the face. And I was like, did Chris Rock just take a punch in the face and not even get fazed by it? That's crazy. And then, of course, like you said, when the swearing started happening, I was like,
You could just see it in his eyes and his voice. It looked like his throat, his lips were trembling a little bit.
Yeah. It felt very real. And also, I don't know. This man said fuck 2 times. Obviously, it was censored. But my first thought was, Will Smith, while he obviously has swore, he's a grown man. I remember, when Will
Smith don't gotta.
What?
Okay, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Will Smith don't gotta cuss to sell records.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
When he would make albums, he went out of his way not to swear because he didn't want things like that being marketed. He didn't have to do it, right? So that was the first thought that came to my mind. It's like, this is very uncharacteristic of him to say fuck not once but twice. But also, people on the internet, it's like, well, it's a publicity stunt. It's fake. There's wrestlers and stuff on there. It's a work. Like, I don't think it's a work. Like, it just seems... My question is, what's the payoff? Some people, especially people outside of wrestling who thought it was fake, they're saying, well, no one cares about the Oscars anymore. It was a ploy to get people to tune into the Oscars. But I'm thinking, what would be the payoff for Will Smith and Chris Rock? Also, like...
Mania?
That's not the
Okay,
payoff.
so let me ask you this then. What's capacity right now for AT&T
it's
Stadium?
not going to be Will Smith and Chris
No.
Rock.
What's capacity?
I'm not sure.
100,000?
Like 100,000, I guess. That's what they did at the 101 that 1 year, supposedly, which I think was a jacked up number, but it was supposed to be like, in reality, 90-some thousand that they got in the building.
Okay, so say they get 100,000 in there.
Okay.
And the last I saw, they sold between 50 and 60,000 tickets for each night.
Okay.
Now, if they announced Will Smith versus Chris Rock at WrestleMania, do you think they would fill the remaining seats?
They would, but it's not a real thing that's happening. Like, what it comes down to is, you have to put yourself in Will Smith and Chris Rock's shoes in this instance when you're talking, is this real or fake? Now, again, I don't know if it was real or fake, but I think I would place money, and I'm not a betting man, that it was real. Because, okay, the payoff. Did the Oscars pay them extra money to do this? I don't know. I don't think that's the thing they would do. But also, if this was like some sort of publicity stunt to get people to watch, I haven't checked, but I don't think the Oscars or the Oscar committee has like a YouTube channel. If they do, did they upload this video uncensored to their YouTube? Because there's probably money in that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
They probably could make a substantial figure from uploading it to social media platforms. So I don't think they've done that. Chris Rock. What is the benefit for Chris Rock standing on stage and essentially getting punked out by Will Smith and not reacting at all? He clearly lost his train of thought after getting smacked in the face. I mean, it would be very embarrassing on his part. Also, let's talk about the fact that Chris Rock, his joke, which triggered this, about Jada saying that she was going to star in G.I. Jane 2 because she had a shaved head. Do you understand why Jada Pinkett Smith has her head shaved? Have you seen what's going around?
Right.
What's the situation?
Alopecia.
She has alopecia, and that's something obviously out of her control. Now, over the past couple years, Will Smith has been in the public eye, and he has been very memed over the last couple years, especially when he went on the internet and he addressed the situation with his wife, which led to him crying. And so now you see all these memes where Will Smith is in tears and people making fun of him, or if someone's crying, they use the fucking Will Smith meme. And I'm sure that's not the only thing that he's been ridiculed and criticized for over the years. Then he's sitting on stage, and his wife, who's going through an obvious physical struggle that you can see, and I'm sure it's taken a mental toll on her, she gets insulted right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not justifying violence, but I'm also not Will Smith. But if I had to imagine if I've gone through the, I don't know, public blasting that this guy has endured, the situation with his wife, like, I don't know, like if someone were to fucking say something about Nicole and make fun of her in front of a group of people and it was based on something she couldn't control, I don't know how I would react. And if I piled a bunch of other shit that was happening on top of that, I think we might have reached his breaking point on live TV. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, let's switch the situation.
I liked it better when Kaufman and Lawler did it.
I mean, look, that was an actual work, but also...
So is this.
Okay, now you're changing your stance just to be a dick. That was a work, but the reason for it was because they thought they can get more mileage and money out of it, and they did that on live TV. It was premeditated, right?
Yeah.
Again, what is the payoff of Chris Rock and Will Smith unless they're secretly conspiring to do something together, and
Memphis.
They're not going to wrestle in Memphis? That seems like they're going backwards. If WrestleMania is this weekend, they probably should go there. But let's change the situation.
You smell what Chris Rock is cooking?
Okay. Let's imagine that the same joke lands and Jada Pinkett Smith goes up on stage and smacks Chris Rock in the face. Mm-hmm. Chris Rock reacts the same way. She says, "Keep your name out of my fucking mouth." Do you think the reaction on social media is different? Because what I see from a lot of people is that Will Smith, he should be charged with assault. He shouldn't have been allowed to accept that award for Best Actor. Mm-hmm. He should have been taken out of the building. Do you think the reaction is different on social media if Jada Pinkett Smith herself goes up on stage and smacks Chris Rock in the face? Because I think it is.
Yeah, it definitely is. But Jada Pinkett Smith is how tall?
I don't know.
5 something.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's maybe 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Will Smith, her husband,
mm-hmm.
is well over 6 foot tall.
Sure.
200 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Played Muhammad Ali.
He
Cassius
did.
Clay.
Yes.
Knows how to punch and how to box and how to hit.
Yeah.
So it is almost like he was bullying Chris Rock.
I don't know if I look at it as bullying.
What if The Rock made the joke? Does Will Smith get up there and smack The Rock in the face?
I don't know.
No, he don't.
I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know if I view it as bullying, but what I'm saying is if Jada Pinkett goes up there herself and smacks Chris Rock in the face, I think 95% of the audience that watch that are going to be happy that Jada stood up for herself, whether it was a physical act or not. And I'm sure there's going to be a percentage that's like, well, violence isn't the answer. But I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the reaction would be different if the woman herself went up on stage and smacked him because obviously she's going through the struggle. Will Smith went and did it for the honor of his wife, who, again, they've had problems, that have been aired out in the public. He went up there, smacked Chris Rock in the face. Pimp walked away, and I don't know. There's a lot of mixed feelings about that on social media. What I feel like I can understand where he's coming from. I don't know if I would have reacted the same way, but at the same token, I think the same people that are on the internet saying like, well, he should be locked up. He should have been. He should have had charges pressed against him. I think those same people, if he would have just sat there and said, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," and just sat there, I'm sure there's a segment of that same audience that's judging him right now that would have been like, well, he's a punk for not getting up and doing something, for defending his wife. All he did was say something, but he didn't actually do something. And then there's another half who've been like, well, boy, I wish Will Smith would have got up and did something. So it's just like, I don't know. I think we just live in a world where it's a lose-lose situation, but it's something we're all talking about today. So.
Oh, yeah. I cannot let this conversation go without mentioning how great Chris Rock was at being a professional, taking that hit. And it seemed like you almost criticized him for, you said, stumbling over his words and losing his train of thought.
No, I'm not criticizing.
He stayed right on track. I mean, he messed up a word. Yeah. He said, "And now for documentary," or something like that. And he meant to say, "And now the award for documentary."
But no, I wasn't criticizing
documentary.
I'm just saying that to me made it real.
Yeah.
Like he got the shit smacked out of him. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't he be at loss for words and
I
not
wouldn't
know
have been
where to
able
go.
to continue that.
Like, he probably had a million feelings going through his mind. Like, I'm not saying he's a punk for not hitting him, but he probably was like, I should fucking try to beat the shit out of him right now, you know? Like,
Or he could eviscerate him verbally.
he could have kept going.
Because there's nobody, that's going to touch Chris Rock.
Yeah, he could have kept going for sure.
Yeah.
Again, like, I mean, I feel bad for both of them in the situation because obviously.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's weird because, like, would it be strange if Nicole came up and punched me in the face because I make fun of you all the time on the show?
But that's different because we're actually friends and we're doing a show together. It's not like Will Smith and Chris Rock have had this like long, tight-knit relationship, and then Chris Rock made a joke on stage about, his wife, like he has done a million times in the past, and they have this show together, and then Will Smith just lost his shit and just smacked him in the face. Like, I think that's a very different situation.
What precedent does it set that if you heckle somebody, you don't have to just heckle them from the crowd anymore. You could just get up and walk on stage and then physically assault them and then come sit back down and not get arrested.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good message to send. I will agree with that. That's probably not the best message. God, it's such a slippery slope though, man. Like, and again, we know because he's in the public eye what Will Smith has gone through, but by the same token, I guess by what you're saying, random person in the crowd gets made fun of for his appearance and something, and then let's think in terms of a pro wrestling show. Anytime we've said something to someone in the crowd physically about because of the way they looked or something, daring them essentially to come to the ring, knowing that we just want to beat them up if they want to actually try us, because that's good heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a chance that they could beat us up too. But just the fact that if they were to actually get legitimately mad, which I've had people that close to coming in the ring before, a wrestler himself, you were there, blocking him from coming in the ring to assault me. I guess who's to say we don't know what this guy's going through? This random Joe Blow in the crowd, right?
I'm thinking, I'm probably getting out of hand with this, but I got kids here and stuff, and I'm thinking, like with school shootings,
geez.
You can't even make fun of kids anymore that just in class. Somebody come back and shoot.
Yeah.
And kill. It's just like, I don't know how many times. They said it was the 94th annual Academy Awards or whatever. And that's never happened. Actually, I don't know if that's ever happened on TV like that. Outside of like a Jerry Springer type of deal.
Yeah, or like, again, when you think about
Dr.
Andy
D.
Kaufman and that wasn't even live. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that was just like a post tape. But like Andy Kaufman and Letterman and Lawler, that was live. And all that shit went over the air when he was swearing and stuff, which was unprecedented. And I think that might have helped set the standard for tape delay back in the day. And you fast forward years later, they do the same thing with Monday Night Raw when Bret Hart loses his cool after he loses the cage match to Sid, and he pushes Vince down the ring and he says, "Frustrated isn't the goddamn word for it. This is bullshit." Then going forward, they have the tape delay. They might have actually started that with Brian Pillman, to be honest, when he did the gun thing, because they said "fuck" over the air. But regardless, the swearing, the slap to the face, is it necessary? Was it necessary? I guess that's the question. And when you bring up the idea of school shootings and kids being bullied, man, I'm really torn on the subject. I guess, I got to take it to the listening audience. What do you guys think? Was Will Smith justified in his actions? Are there specific circumstances in which this is okay or not okay?
That's the other thing, man. This ruins it for all of us guys.
What do you mean?
That will have a girlfriend or a wife. Because now nobody can say shit.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because now you're going to have to get up and smack everybody that says something about your wife. And if you were a part of around me during my first or second marriage, you'd understand that you're going to have to smack a lot of people, because a lot of people don't like the person you're with sometimes.
I guess you.
And I think Jada Pinkett Smith, for me, was like that.
So this was only.
I don't like her.
This wasn't only just your first and second marriage. You didn't do this for your third, fourth, or fifth.
You're gonna have to ask her.
Her?
Ooh.
You
it's not a cat. I just meow on air. It's a woman.
You married the same person multiple times?
No, I'm just saying. I may be married now.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is there an energy drink in that can, or what's happening? You don't like Jada Pinkett Smith, you said?
No.
Why?
I never liked her. She rubs me the wrong way. I don't like the way she looks, acts, talks, and I don't like the way she played Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, it's a weird situation for sure. They're obviously still together.
A strong, independent woman.
Okay.
She needed a man to save her.
How did you feel about their kid playing in The Karate Kid?
I hated it.
Yeah, I've never even seen it.
Yeah, you know what I liked? I liked the one. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth.
I don't know what that is.
His daughter had an album.
Oh, I know nothing about
the
this.
Smith daughter.
Yikes! I feel real out of the loop.
That's what I should have done my intro music with. Hey, let's start from the beginning.
No,
Ready? Cut
not
it,
going
erase,
to.
and
No.
then we'll just do this.
No, I'll find a cover and play it at the end of the show or something. But I don't know. I want feedback from social media. What do you guys think of
Whip my.
What do you guys think of Will Smith and Chris Rock, that whole situation? Let us know on social media at Iron on Wrestling, on Twitter,
hair.
Facebook, and Instagram. You can also let us know in the comments below on Patreon, patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling, where for just $3, you can get a buttload of bonus content. All the audio you get for $3, and you get a follow back on social media. But if you go up to $5, you get video included in that. Go up to $9, you get involved in the Zoom call, and you get to pick a bonus podcast subject once a month. We put in the queue, and eventually we talk about it on the show. Later on in the show, actually, we'll be covering the bonus podcast subject of one Ryan Egan, who actually is in one of the higher tiers on Patreon. He's in the $100 tier where he pays us to be in studio, and so he wants to talk about the career and the best moments of the game, Triple H. So we will talk about his retirement a little bit here on the regular version of the show.
Egan retired?
Triple H retired.
Oh.
You idiot. You actual moron. We will talk about Triple H a little bit on the show here, but we are going to go in depth on patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling about the career of Triple H. I want to welcome some of our new patron subscribers to the show this week. Monday, we had Rick sign up for Patreon at the $9 tier. We thank Rick very much for that. This past Friday, we had Zachary Blackburn sign up. He contributed $1. We appreciate you for supporting the show. And just 22 hours ago, as I record this, Adam Warner, $4. Thank you for signing up for the Patreon. Currently, we have 91 Patreon subscribers. We appreciate and we love all of you guys, no matter how little or how much you're giving us, $1 or $100. You guys are the best. You keep this show going, and can't thank you guys enough. Of course, I said the $3, the $5, $9 tier. Of course, there's a $25 tier where you get something in the mail from us once every other month. We're sending out a package very quickly in April. We already have all the stuff ready to go. So if you want to get the April package, you better sign up. It's a good one. It's different than the other packages we've done in the past, and it spotlights not only the show in one of the gifts that you will receive from the Howard Steele package, but you will get something, not for Emily, but from one of the guests that were just on the show in the last 3 months. So you can go back in the archives and see which potential guest that might be. So it's a pretty cool gift. Check it out. $25 tier, Howard Animal Steel. $29 tier, you get involved in the podcast as well. I believe on Wednesday, today, as you're hearing this, if you're listening on iTunes, wherever you download podcasts, I will be doing a conversation with the people that pay $29 to be involved in the podcast. Not only we talk about your subject, but we also podcast together in a group setting. So we're going to be doing that today as you're listening to this on Wednesday. And of course, remember, everything on Patreon is not only extended, like this episode, which you get extra Triple H content, but it's early. It comes out Tuesday instead of Wednesday. Great stuff over on Patreon, patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling. Sign up, support, and we thank you very much for that. Now, what we're going to do at this time, we are going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to go to the interview with Mike from Circle 6, And after that, stick around because we will address the Triple H retirement and we will do some extended Patreon content with Ryan Egan about the life and the career of the game. Triple H. I don't know why. What is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the joke of the pod. The joke of the pod.
We're not doing this.
Yep.
No, we're not doing a joke of the pod.
A joke of the pod.
You are the joke of the pod.
Your face is the
ha.
joke of the
no,
pod.
it's not. Stop it. Are you done?
What kind of clothes
Jesus Christ.
do houses wear?
That can't be a real thing.
Address.
We're going to go with the commercial.
Address.
We'll be right back.
It's a house and
Horrible.
it's got an
No, I hate it.
address.
I hate it.
You know, like if
Commercials.
You lived on,
We got to do commercials.
Store Avenue.
Shut up. All right. Can I get a round of applause, everyone? Oh, okay. Well, sort of. It should have been better applause because today I'm excited to announce Manscaped has launched their Ultra Premium Collection.
What? Oh my gosh, my dick has been getting so hairy lately, and my balls too.
Well, believe it or not, it's for your not so private parts, but I'm talking about leveling up the hygiene a little bit because they're going to send you more of your favorite manly scent. That's right. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit for the everyday man and covers your head and toes. Literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist, but now you could trust them with all the rest. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com. You can save 20% off and get free shipping by using promo code PARDON, PARDON, and here's what you get in the Ultra Premium Collection. Yes, of course, you get the Lawnmower 4.0. We all know that. We know that they have the state-of-the-art advanced skin-safe technology, which reduces cuts and your most delicate areas. But now you can enhance your perfect grooming routine with their Ultra Premium Collection, which includes a premium deodorant. No, not for your balls, but for your stanky armpits. Aaron, you know all about that.
Well, my armpits, they sometimes do get a little foul, but when they do, I like to rub someone's face into them, and I call that the pit stop. You know why?
Why's that?
Because it never closes.
Well, if you use deodorant, it's not going to have the same effect that it would have had in the past. And also, if you've used other deodorant, I'm sure you've had this problem. Sometimes you get like residue all on your armpits and shit, and that's not attractive.
More like residont.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with the Manscaped deodorant, it dries clear. Yeah. It's aluminum free and smells like the signature scent that you know and love. But also,
well, hold on, is this it right here?
Yeah, try it. Okay, I didn't stop. That's not what that's meant for.
Oh.
Eating deodorant. You're an idiot. Hydrating body moisturizer also comes in this. You have tattoos or issues with dry skin? Aaron?
I do. I'm trying to get rid of one of my tattoos right now.
Well, you should probably try to get rid of all of your tattoos. I've seen you with your shirt off, but it's designed to keep
at least
skin,
that's all you made fun of me for was my tattoos.
It's designed to keep your skin, that being the hydrating body moisturizer, clean, smooth, and smelling fresh. But also, inside the Ultra Premium Collection, you get the body wash, the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, and a free gift. Aaron, are you ready to try the 3-pack set of lip balm that's made up with ingredients such as vitamin E, peppermint, and oil to keep those chappers feeling moist all day long?
Greg, I feel like you could join the Kiss My Ass Club.
Well, if I get to use Manscaped's lip balm, I might give that a shot.
What?
What? No,
I'm gonna make a new club.
What's that?
Kiss My Balls Club.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to recommend something for the listening audience. Here's the order in which you should use these products if you invest in the Ultra Premium Collection. 1, hop in the shower, scrub-a-dub-dub that body with the Manscaped body wash. 2, lather your hair up with the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner to keep your noggin toggin. 3, dry off and spray on the hydrating body moisturizer to reinvigorate the dry skin. 4, put on the Manscaped deodorant for obvious reasons, Aaron. 5, pop that Manscaped lip balm on, and no one is out here kissing chapped up lips. Then get dressed. I mean, that's optional. Wear one great scent all day long. And of course, take that ultra premium collection and keep it on your shelf. Whenever you need it, on the go. Hey, you're going to want this kit. And you're going to get it with 20% off and free shipping by using promo code PARDON, PARDON. Aaron, anything less would be uncivilized. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you agree. But hey, when you invest in this product at Manscaped or any of the products at manscaped.com, we'll thank you because it helps support the podcast. And of course, your balls will thank you. Okay, I don't know why you're just a cat. Please do not shave any cats with the Lawnmower 4.0. Or maybe do. I mean, it should be safe for them, I think.
Kitty want to shave.
Okay. If you're in the pro wrestling or the entertainment industry, you probably realize how important it is to have quality merchandise for sale.
I got one.
You got what?
I got one.
You got what?
A design.
Why?
I have a good buddy. His name's Juan.
He's my buddy too.
You probably know him. He's of the Ortiz family.
Yes, Juan Ortiz of the Dead Designs. I've heard of him.
But he's not gonna Ortiz you at all. He's gonna give you the facts, and the facts are this. I have this idea.
I can only imagine what it is.
So, we're at the Academy Awards. If you want me to be at the Oscars, I could be there. At the Academies, I could be there. If you want me to be at the Alpacas, I can do that.
Just say what you got to say.
Well, it really kind of took me out of the moment there. But, say we're at an award show. Any award show.
Yep.
Chris Rock is doing a little bit, and he roasts somebody. And then how about Will Smith approaches the stage and smacks the shit out of Chris Rock?
Okay.
And then we could have that immortalized forever, that moment in time.
Well, I think that's
which
design.
Is what some people are calling the greatest moment in television history.
Some would say that one for sure.
Yes.
I think that moment alone. There's nothing else that needs to be added to that. So that's a good design that I think you could pitch to Juan, who's done work for AEW, WWE, Impact, ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling, so many top tier talents. I think that's a great design. And so with that, I'm going to say, if
you want to take it up a notch, like I'm sure Greg would, if Greg happens to see a woman that has broken up with him in the past several years, he may want the design to also include A, nana, B, some clouds, C, 2 fishing rods, hey bro, and 4, a saber-toothed tiger.
Excuse me?
Yes, in heaven, all on a commemorative pennant.
Okay, I don't know.
It shows support for your favorite team.
Seems like a complicated design, I'll be honest with you. But Juan does have over 15 years of experience, and he has a portfolio of notable clients. That does
he knows from experience, dude. Him and her got it on.
Nana? Anyways, Juan wants to help you, whether it be for merchandise or for some sort of custom artwork for a friend, loved one, a baseball team, soccer group, Girl Scout cookie troop, anything. Juan will draw it for you.
What about my S&M group?
Maybe.
Cleveland has that underground place.
Oh boy, I don't know anything about that.
$200 membership.
Okay,
get you in.
Whatever the design is.
What do you want to do?
If you contact,
if you go to one of those
Juan
places,
Ortiz, I'm
do?
not answering you. He'll
I'd
save
watch.
you $10 if you mention Iron on Wrestling. That's right, $10 off your first design. So contact Of the Dead Designs right now on Instagram at Of the Dead 209, on Facebook at facebook.com/Of the Dead Designs, or go to his website, ofthedead.weebly.com, because Of the Dead Designs is bringing your artwork to life.
I am the leprechaun.
No, get out. No, St. Patrick's Day's over. Get out of here.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
What is wrong with you? My guest this week on Iron on Wrestling is a man that I've been wanting to talk to for a couple weeks now, but I couldn't because I was trapped in LA, but I was actually sitting with him a whole lot while I was in Los Angeles. So we didn't make the time for the podcast then because it was very stressful, but we're doing it now via Zoom. Mike from Circle 6. What's up, man?
What's going on, Greg? Great to finally make time to do this. I know the last week was a longer trip than expected for you guys.
Yeah, but you made it tolerable, very much so. You saved our asses, and I thank you for that very much.
Oh, dude, my pleasure. It was, it was really funny because when Ricky texted me and told me that you guys the flight was delayed again, and then they canceled it and rescheduled it, I was like semi-coma on the couch, just like, so I was so out of it from the weekend. And I remember like I had the phone on my chest and I felt it vibrate. So I woke up, I saw it was Ricky calling, and I looked at the time and I go, oh fuck, there's problems.
Yeah. But we got through it, and you know what? There's worse places to be trapped than Los Angeles. So we had a good time. We made it work. But the reason why we were in LA, because it was the debut of the Circle 6. And I had a great time. I loved the atmosphere. I thought it was a great vibe. And for a first show, it was packed and loud, and just there's a lot of descriptors that come to mind. But for you, I mean, you had to put all that together. That first show, the feeling in the room, what did you get from it?
Honestly, personally, that was probably one of the happiest moments of my life, being able to do that, because it's something I've always wanted to be able to put together, and having that happen it was a little surreal. I would have never expected it to go as well as it did in-house, but it was an amazing moment for me, and I know a lot of other people that were on the show felt like it was a really cool atmosphere. I think it was a W, kind of all across the board, minus the live stream, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
We will get to that. But, you've been around wrestling for a long time now on the inside, and you've had a lot of various business endeavors. First, I guess let's start off by starting with your love of wrestling. Where does that come from exactly? Where does it start?
Probably about 4 years old. My cousin was visiting, my older cousin who passed away when I was a teenager. He was visiting from Armenia, and he stayed with us for a few weeks, and he was a big wrestling fan. He was probably about, I'd say 8 or 9 years older than me. And he was insisting on watching it, I guess, when I was a kid. And then I was like 4 years old. I just got hooked on it, and I couldn't stop. It was funny because my parents hated it, and they always blamed my cousin for introducing me to it. So it's what kind of started the spiral.
Who were your first favorites when you watched growing up?
Bret Hart, without a doubt. Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler from day one. I know this is a point of contention between you and me, but I always hated Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, well, yeah. I could never have guessed by the fuck Hulk Hogan merchandise.
It was some of my favorite stuff. I'm glad we were able to make it. But yeah, Bret Hart was definitely my number one growing up. I don't think anybody even came close. The closest to that was The Undertaker, And as I grew older, probably into like 13, 14, I discovered independent wrestling. We were going to just a bunch of the local shows around LA. I remember, the early days of PWG. I remember going to the Rev Pro shows, the UPW shows back out over here. And then, through me and some of my friends back then, it was, DVDs were still relatively new. We were doing a little bit of tape trading, kind of discovered CZW through that, Ring of Honor through that, and grew into some of the East Coast stuff. But yeah, once I discovered independent wrestling, it was just, I was like, man, this is on a whole nother level talent wise. Like, yeah, you're not getting the crazy, dramatic story that you're getting from the WWF at the time, but you're getting and like athleticism and talent that was like innovative matches that were on a completely different level. So that it's from that point on, it was like, I gotta be a part of this.
Yeah, yeah. And something about independent wrestling that I really love is the idea that you get to see these guys right when they start on the ground floor, and you get to see them rise from just the ashes of these beginning stages, making no money, killing themselves until eventually, if you're a fan of WWE and AEW and the bigger products, now they're getting the money that they deserve and everything. But independent wrestling, there's something so beautiful about it, and just the building process. So you start going to these independent shows. How quickly do you realize this is something that you want to be a part of?
Originally I wanted to be a wrestler, like when I was 14, 15 years old, I wanted to be a wrestler. Coming from my household, it wasn't a possibility. Like I could do pretty much anything I wanted, but my parents were always a little strict on like what my future was going to look like. But in our family too, there was the goals of like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, you got to have some like real job. So in that regard, with my career, I was always a little bit of the black sheep, working in entertainment and music and kind of low paying gigs my whole life. But as I got older, I realized like that wrestling, being a pro wrestler, is just like not in the books for me. And really, I kind of swayed more into the music industry naturally because of my history, like managing clubs and, knowing all of these musicians. Like, it was kind of an easy segue for me to break into the music scene. And wrestling, the idea of ever being involved with wrestling just kind of drifted away. It just stayed as like, okay, this is something that I really enjoy. And I stopped enjoying music because I worked in it for so long. So I was always able to go to wrestling shows and enjoy wrestling from a distance and appreciate it.
So before you are actually on the inside of wrestling, as you alluded to, you're working in clubs, you're doing stuff in the music industry. Talk to me a little bit about that and how that comes to be. And you talk about how your parents wanted some sort of thing for your career. Obviously, you wanted other things. What became the goal, like with the situation with your parents and what you wanted to do? Since it wasn't wrestling, what did you say, this is what I want to be when I grow up, or this is what I want to try to do when I grow up?
I ended up, I'm technically a high school dropout. By the time I was 16, I realized like schooling, like regular schooling and stuff, I just couldn't pay attention. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my thing. I got my GED. I left. I went to community college. I took probably like 6 or 7 cracks at college between trade schools, film school, music school, like all of it just wasn't kind of working out. And they realized like my success was only going to be based on me enjoying what I did, because if I didn't enjoy what I do, I don't have the attention span or the capability to stick through it. So they kind of started to let me just go about my business as long as I was able to support myself and do what I wanted. They were okay with it. Everything I've done, I've always had the mentality that like, I want to make money and not work. I'll work hard, but I don't want it to feel like work. And for a long time, music was that. It was I got my first gig in like live entertainment working at the House of Blues in Los Angeles. And I was doing security there when I was 18 and kind of segued into being the venue manager by the time I was 21. Spent about 5 years at that venue. Learned a lot there. It was a great experience. I met a lot of people there, but I wanted to get more involved on the actual in the music industry, not just the live event industry. So I remember one of the guards that was working with me at the time he worked at the Whiskey for a while, and he was an agent for this metal booking agency. And I kept begging him. I'm like, man, you got to get me a meeting over there. You got to get me a meeting. You got to give me a meeting. I want to get out of here so bad. And one night after the Summer Slaughter tour, he got me a 5-minute talk with one of the agents for the tour in the balcony of the venue after the show was down. And I was like, I'm ready to learn. Like, just put me wherever, I'll learn. So they had me come into their office the next week. I sat down with a couple of the agents there, and I was like, what do I need to do? They go, well, we don't have a spot for you to pay you, but you can intern here. for a while and see what's up. So I'm like 23 years old at the time, I think 22, 23. And I go, yeah, okay, whatever I got to do. So I interned there for free for 6 to 8 months in the daytime. And then as soon as my shift was over there, I'd go to the House of Blues at night. I'd work that. And I was pulling doubles there for probably about 8 months until I was just so exhausted. I finally like walked up and I was to the agency. I was like, listen, if you're not going to hire me, tell me, because I can't deal with this anymore. I'm exhausted. I need to get out of here. And they finally were like, all right, cool, you're in. So I was able to leave. And that was my first step through the doors of the entertainment world.
It's so funny because a lot of wrestlers do this too. They compare. The only thing that is equivalent to pro wrestling oftentimes is working in the music industry or being in a band. And I mean, that tells it all right there about your situation. I mean, it's just, you start as a security guard. I started as a security guard in wrestling, as unintimidating as that sounds, in Cleveland. And then I started selling tickets, and then I got the courage to start training to be a wrestler. And, who knew if I was going to be good at that or not, but I wanted to take that shot. Right. So you're working in the entertainment business, you're doing the things with the bands. How did you get your foot in the door with wrestling?
I had kind of exited the music industry a little bit. I was running my own label at the time, but we had seen some success early and then it was dwindling away. I was just like, I got to take a job to make some money, make some extra money to be able to fund everything. So I was working at this vape company doing their digital marketing and some video production stuff for them for their new products. And I happened to see that Nick Gage had posted that he was looking for somebody to do some merchandise for him or whatever. And I had the infrastructure. So I just took a shot in the dark. I texted Nick and I was like, hey, I can do this. If you're interested, let me know. I have these capabilities, whatever. And I heard back from him probably about an hour or two later and did a couple designs for him. Went out to Double or Nothing weekend in 2019 in Vegas, which was the first time I met Nick. I sold some merch for him at the shows over there. And that was the first time we had like a real conversation. I was like, hey man, I'd like to continue to do this for you if it's a possibility. And we kept in touch and I kept producing new merch for him. And that he was kind of like my entryway into wrestling, And at that time, everything was still very like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. This is incredible. Like it felt limited. Like I didn't think it was going to last. I felt out of place. I'm like, should I even be allowed here? Like what's going on, So it was cool. It was a very fun experience.
Talk to me about having a friendship with Nick Gage, because for many fans, they have one perception of Nick. But for you, someone that was working so close with him on the inside, creating all of his merch, I got to imagine you get to see a different side of him.
To a degree, the person that the fans think he is and the person that he actually is very similar. People have asked me this before, and my only response has always been that I think Nick is probably one of the most genuine, nice human beings I've ever met in my life. And I have so much love for him, and I've only ever want the best for that man. I'm happy to be able to be a part of his story in one way or another. I feel honored for that. So I think Nick, like I said, I think he's literally one of the most genuine human beings I've met. When he tells you something, he means it.
Yeah, 100%. And it was good that he paired up with someone like you, because when the MDK All Day site launched, it just looked so legit compared to other wrestling websites, and the designs were great and everything. The process of creating designs for Nick, creating designs in general, did Nick have any say-so on any of that? Did he have ideas for stuff, or are you coming to him and pitching ideas and he's just okaying it? How does that work exactly?
It was a little bit of both. There were a lot of stuff that were our ideas. There was a lot of stuff that was Nick's ideas that we took and we kind of worked with and figured out what the best product to put out was. How we kind of started that was that same weekend in Vegas in May of 2019. I met Jonathan Bowles, who at the time was running Lapel Yeah. And he came up to my table. He was selling stuff on the side as well. He came up to my table and was like, hey, you're doing stuff for Nick. I'd love for us to be able to collaborate. It took a while. I was still kind of in my own world doing my own thing at the time. But as we got into 2020, pandemic happened. I was like, all right, well, I got to figure out a way to generate some more income for Nick. We should legitimize this store a little more and like really put it together. He had some success doing stores for a bunch of other talent. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do with Nick. And we came up with MDK All Day and had our first product launch. I think it was like July or August. I think it was July of 2020. And we had a spread of like 6 or 7 items and people seemed to really like it. And it ended up blowing up bigger than, I could have imagined at the time. So it was great. But yeah, it was definitely a collaborative effort. We wanted to stay true to what Nick's personality is and what his persona is and create products, for fans of that. And Nick would always say like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, or let's try this idea, or like, I like this phrase or whatever. And we would incorporate that into what we would pitch him.
So you mentioned how you meet the people from Lapel. Yeah. And I was checking out some of the stuff in the warehouse over the weekend while I was stuck there. And your reach goes very far with merchandise. I mean, you got the WrestleRoos in there, you got some of the pins and everything. How far are you extending yourself as far as creating wrestling merchandise? What exactly all are you doing in wrestling other than creating shirts for Nick? Who are you working with? Talk to me about that.
So at the time, for me, it was just Nick, but as MDK All Day started to grow, my mentality was always to have it be like a brand that housed more than just Nick Gage, almost like a niche version of pro wrestling tees, where if there was talent that fit into that same vibe, into that same personality, all of it would kind of start to get housed over here. So, we did stuff for Jimmy Lloyd, Effie, AJ Gray, Matt Justice, Mance Warner, Schlack. We kind of started to integrate all of these guys in there. And at one point, I think we were like MDK had done 8 to 10 other talents merch at one time.
It's pretty amazing. That you kept yourself busy for sure. You were really creating a presence within professional wrestling. Now, at what point do you decide, okay, I'm working with all these wrestlers, I'm making all this merchandise, maybe I want to create something of my own?
It was, I don't know. That decision a little bit, my hand was kind of forced into it. When Nick had signed exclusively over with GCW, that was kind of like, okay, well, we can't really continue to do this anymore. And I understand why he went that direction. There was, financial security involved for him, which is really ultimately in the end with MDK was like the whole goal for him is independent wrestling. If you don't have a guaranteed contract somewhere with a major company, when your career is done wrestling, what do? You're a lot of people, doesn't matter how big their career was on the independents, they're going to make some appearances, do signings or whatever it may be. But a lot of them go back and work a regular job, for the remainder of their time. I wanted Nick to have something else along with that, which is why we put so much into MDK All Day. So as long as he has that, everything's good. I'm cool. I was fine closing down shop over there, but that what we're doing with Circle 6 is kind of like the continuation of what the game plan was with MDK All Day, of branching off into other talent, live events, experiences, whatever it may be, is just really solidifying a brand as like, this is it. It's not just wrestling.
So no more relationship with Nick Gage, MDK All Day. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are still going to maintain a friendship, but business-wise, not a thing anymore. The creation of Circle 6, though, the idea behind it. Talk to me about the process of putting together that first show. How does it become a thing?
That first show was extremely chaotic. Putting it together had felt pretty chaotic, but I had a great support system. Obviously, the same team we were using for MDK was here as a support system for everything. Ricky was a huge part of helping me get this thing together, obviously with his years of experience. I only know so much and I'm learning, but I know a good amount on the business end of things, whereas Ricky can bring, okay, this is what you need to expect and what you need to do from a wrestler's standpoint and how to run a wrestling show. So I'm learning from him, and I'm very grateful for that. Obviously, the support of Atticus, having him in the picture of being able to help guide me through this as well, and I'm able to help him on my end. That played a huge part. I think the most difficult aspect of all of this was me kind of telling myself like this was really going to happen. It wasn't really real until we stepped foot into that venue.
Yeah, no, listen, I can imagine. Like, I love being a wrestler. I love the creative aspect of professional wrestling, helping with writing stories, helping booking. But people ask me all the time, would you ever run your own show? Hell no. The idea is so terrifying, putting my money on the line, my reputation on the line, making sure that everything's in order, and being a wrestler, knowing how cancellations go, or, wrestlers wanting X amount of dollars, depending on what time of the day it is, and shit coming up where they need extra money. It's like, no, thank you. Don't want to deal with all that. So don't envy you in that aspect at all. But the courage, the balls that it takes to put on the show, that I envy, because I would not want to do that. So in putting together this card, you want Circle 6 to have a certain vibe. How did you come up with the talent that you decided to book on the first show?
I had talked to somebody about this a few weeks back, and I think the answer that I gave kind of holds true. Is like, we booked this based on what I would like to see, and it was the same mentality that I took in the music industry. Was I worked with bands that I like, not necessarily I'm like, oh, this person's marketable, or this band is marketable, or this music's good for this, and there's a trend that I can hit. That really kind of played no part in it. It was, these are the people that I like. These are the people that are available from the ones that I like. These are matchups that I feel would be really good. Like, take Biff Busick, Brody King, for example. Those are guys that missed each other on the indies by a year or two, but everybody who enjoys that style of wrestling would be like, yeah, of course, I want to see what Biff Busick and Brody King looks like, so we made that match happen. That was definitely the vibe for the first show. I didn't really want to focus on building too much story or building anything other than a very entertaining show to watch, because we wanted to come out looking good, fans have a good time, presentation to be on point. The live experience was very important, as long as we were able to hit those, make sure that the show ran smoothly, timing was good, the talent had a good experience. When I was booking people this time around, and really moving forward, I have like a no negotiation mentality. Like, you guys work very hard for the money you make. So I don't want to come in, try to lowball or do anything. It's really just everybody that I booked to go, what do you need to make this happen? You tell me your rate, you tell me what you got to do, or what you need travel wise. Yes, we can do it. Cool. We move forward. It's not, oh, you need this much. Well, how about this? I don't want to go down that route. As long, keep you guys happy. You guys do your thing. We wouldn't be able to make a show without you,
100%. You had Christopher Daniels, Ricky Shane Page, Fatu, Schlack, the Bev, obviously all the 440 was involved, Biff Busick, Brody King, so many other guys. But one name that you brought up a little bit ago, Atticus Cogar. I think when Circle 6 was announced and the event was entitled Skewered, I think the perception online was that this was a promotion that maybe Atticus was running, or he had some very, very, very heavy involvement with. For you, having Atticus Cogar involved in the show, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes, how important was that for you?
Extremely important. One, from a friendship perspective, I have so much love for that dude. It meant a lot for me to have him there, and for him to be, willing to come out and show out the way he did, and help build this company. And then from a business perspective, I think he's probably one of the brightest stars on the indies that has just no ceiling. This guy he's so young. He just turned 25,
Yeah.
He's got so many years ahead of him, so much that he can do. It's having somebody like that at such a young age that's already established himself is super important to our growth.
Hell yeah. And he's a good kid, and he's come a long way, and he busts his ass, and that's what it's all about in pro wrestling. And also, I mean, just from my perspective, I already know how good he is and how marketable he is. Having him on the show, hadn't had him on the show since by himself for about a year, and when he first started, really, and came back on the show to have that interview. It was quickly the most downloaded podcast we ever did. And I think just goes to show that when Atticus talks, people want to listen. And, that's half the battle in pro wrestling is getting them in the door by talking. But for this show, you pointed out that you sort of booked things that you wanted to see. But by what I saw and by the fan attendance, it seemed like you booked something that a lot of other people want to see. And I think maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit as far as you having the mindset of what the general fan of independent wrestling wants to see, because that final draw in that building that night for a first show, what was it, like 375 or something, 400?
Yeah, it was just about 400. I think we were like 15 tickets or so away from sellout.
Pretty freaking impressive. And like I said, the crowd was rowdy all night, loud. This ends up streaming on Twitch. There's been a lot of rumors and scuttlebutt on the internet about why it wasn't on somewhere like FITE or whatever the case may be. Do you want to talk about those rumors at all?
Yeah, we can address some of that stuff. There was a lot of that. I saw a lot of it the next day. Actually, Joe from Voices of Wrestling had sent me a message about an article that was written about the rumors that were out there. We did a phone interview for about 45 minutes after the show on that Sunday. I addressed a bunch of that, but I don't think it's funny. The stuff that I've seen picked up, everyone discussed the rumors, but nobody really discussed me addressing the rumors. So I'll definitely kind of pop off those answers again for you. On the, why was the show on Twitch? Why was it not on FITE or anywhere else? Yeah, we had talked with FITE. I had a discussion with them. They didn't know if they would be able to accommodate us or if they were going to be able to accommodate us in their schedule. I'd been waiting for an answer for a couple weeks. Nothing had really come from it. So I was just like, I remember reaching back out to them and telling them, hey, do we have anything? We're getting very close. They told me that there was no solid answer yet. And we both agreed, like, okay, how about we just run this separately and maybe we can revisit this in the future. No issues there. Why was it on Twitch? It was on, we wanted to try something different. This is the first show for our company. Yeah, I understand what the terms of service is. I had spoke with somebody at Twitch about potential terms of service violations for the gore and whatnot. The general consensus was that it was only going to be an issue if it was being reported. That's what I heard from Twitch. I'm okay with that. I was like, we'll take the risk. We're gonna let everybody see this show no matter what. We wanted to see if this platform would be a viable solution for us to be able to do stuff like this. Clearly it wasn't, but I don't think it was a total fail, to be honest with you. We were trending with a horrible stream. We were trending number 5 in the US on Twitter, and I would say just from going back and looking at the comments, 75 to 80% of it was positive. So I'll take that as a win. I don't think we necessarily would have gotten that without Twitch because we had 2.5, almost 3,000 viewers at one point, to my understanding.
Yeah.
And then there was also a rumor about our production team. Like, did our production team pull out? Yeah, the people that I thought were going to be doing the show did pull out about a week and a half before show day, maybe a little under a week and a half before show day. But was it because of pressure from anyone else? I don't think so. Based on my conversations with them, and I'd known these guys for a while and they've remained friends, they had a workload that both in the wrestling world and their professional world of their shoot jobs interfered with being able to make this work, and things happen. So we went with it. It was hard to find a local team short notice. Historically, I'll say this and somebody can prove me wrong, West Coast production teams for pro wrestling, few and far between that understand what to do live. I pulled together a team that did what they could, understood kickboxing, understood like combat sports, but I don't necessarily think wrestling like this especially was new to them. And we had production issues between rental gear and gear that we had. Stuff wasn't working properly the way it should have, and we had the situation that we did. 100%, I would say, avoidable for the future.
Yeah, well, you made some mistakes. They're going to be fixed in the future. Considering how things got sort of pulled from out of the rug from you at the last second, the way it came together, I think it was very impressive. And the card, I mean, the streaming issues notwithstanding, the card I think was incredible. Like I said, the fans were all about it the whole night. For you, what were the highlight matches on the show?
So the first and foremost, like biggest highlight for me is Daniels and RSP. It was extremely important for me to have that match be the first match of the night, and it meant a lot to have Daniels be the first person to ever come out to our ring. I grew up watching him, so that was probably one of the coolest moments is to have him there and get the sign of approval that like the show was good from someone like him. So obviously that match stood out to me. Biff and Brody I forgot I was running the show while watching Biff and Brody because it was just so damn fun. The Conglomerate versus 440 was fantastic. Third match for that feud. I had so much fun. Eddie Only, gem. Like he's so good.
I told him
So
he was the
much
star
fun
of
to
that
watch.
match. I told him I don't think it was supposed to be that way, but it's like just the way everything was placed. I was like, Eddie, you are the fucking man.
No, and my girlfriend told me the same thing after the show. She was like, "That was my favorite match of the night," and I wish it was longer because I just enjoyed the shit out of it. So I love that. Schlack Fatu was fun, and I want to run that one back. We'll see if Fatu wants to get another round in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Taipei was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. We had a power outage for the end of that match. Transformer blew down the street, which of all the problem, like honestly, we got like every issue probably out of the way during that first show between travel issues, production issues, power issues. Like, just it was unreal. But that match was fantastic. I love Vinny. Everyone was like, "What the fuck did you just book when we booked this match?"
Mhm.
A lot of people I know weren't aware of who Vinny was or what he's done. And I literally told everybody, just shut up and watch. Like, you're going to enjoy this. And that's exactly what happened. People enjoyed that match. And obviously the main event, I think that, I can't thank Masada enough for the performance he put on. And I can't thank Atticus enough for the performance he put on. I thought that was a fantastic death match. And I think a lot of it showcased their pure wrestling ability as well. The fans were mind blown by a lot of that because a lot of them hadn't seen that level of violence in LA in a while.
Sure.
I think that honestly, like, just the whole show was just enjoyable, man. I really enjoyed it kind of top to bottom.
Yeah. And I think for a first main event, Atticus and Masada was actually pretty perfect. And that was the one match that I got to watch from start to finish. And man, they went about a half hour and it was great storytelling, incredible pacing. And one thing that I often forget while I was watching in the back, if Masada wants to, he can fucking wrestle. And I think people that when they take the time to watch this match, both with Atticus, who can also wrestle and was wrestling his ass off out there, you watch this match with Atticus and Masada, you will see sides of them that you don't often get to see. And as the sequel to the original, I think this was a great second match, in my opinion, better than the first. And I really think fans who didn't get to watch the stream, or even if you attempted to watch the stream and encountered some problems, I think you're going to have to go out of your way to watch this Circle 6 show, which I guess begs the question, now that the Twitch is over with, some of the dust is settled, the smoke is cleared, what's that show looking like as far as being able to watch it in the near future?
Well, as we speak, it's uploading to match by match to YouTube. So it'll all be available by the time this podcast gets released.
Heck yeah.
So we're looking good on that end. Moving forward, we're going to try something new again for the next show. A lot more dependable. It will be the next show will be a pay-per-view, but we're going to be housing everything on our own paywall system. So you'll still be able to cast it to your TV. You'll still be able to watch it on your TV. I think by doing this, I'm able to drop the pay-per-view price from what you would expect it to be because there's less hands involved in it. taking a percentage out before we get a cut. So financially for our end, it makes sense. And I think for the fans, it'll be a cheaper buy on a consistent basis. And we'll be able to mix some free events in there as well. And just to kind of backpedal a little bit on what you mentioned about the first show, as far as like the audience reception and pacing and all of that. One of the pieces of feedback that I got from a lot of fans were that they wanted blood. They wanted it quick. You know, I heard a lot of fans in the audience getting antsy because we kind of backloaded all the violence, like the real violence, on this show, and that was 100% intentional. And it's kind of the way, you know, Ricky and I had talked about this a lot. It's the death match and the blood stuff is kind of overutilized a little bit, you know, and you see it super early. And I feel like fans may end up coming out for the wrong reasons. You're going to get death on every show that we can put it on, you know, but doesn't mean you need to get it right off the bat. You know, I love that anticipation for it towards the end of the night. By the time Atticus and Masato walked out, there were people in the audience that were just losing their minds, just ready to see glass break.
It's psychology, brother. You know, I mean, maybe I'm a different breed, and because I'm in it, it's like I don't want to see blood every match. I love blood in professional wrestling. I feel like, you know, at the higher levels in places like WWE, I wish they still did blood because it adds so much drama to a match. But if you come out right out the gate bleeding, and then you bleed in the second match and the third match, then maybe you skip a match, but then you come back for the fifth and the sixth and the seventh, and then you do it in the main, it doesn't mean anything. And the one thing that I like about Circle Six, which, you know, Atticus sort of alluded to when he was on the show a couple of weeks back, and I know talking to you, you agree with this 100%. Not only is the show's going to be structured well, but there's going to be rules when it's not a death match, right? We're going to enforce rules that are important to professional wrestling.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we had a disqualification on that show, you know?
Yeah.
There's definitely, we have a rule structure to the tag matches. We have a rule structure to singles matches. If it's a no DQ match, it's going to be called out for being a no DQ match. If it's a multi-man, there's a rule set for that that'll be introduced probably on the next show, and we'll get everyone familiarized with it. The scrambles, there's going to be a rule structure for that that'll be a little bit different than, you know, what you see nowadays. So we're trying some new things. You know, we got 20 count on the outside. We have certain rule structures for the referees to enforce what happens when you're on the ropes or when you're on the apron. So there'll be an adjustment period to people kind of getting accustomed to what we're doing and what we want to do, and even for us figuring out the best way to, you know, put on the best show possible. But I think we took a good first step into making something a little different and establishing who we are as Circle Six.
I think it was a great first step, and I'm looking forward to the steps going forward. Now, before we wrap this up, first of all, if someone wanted to find Circle Six on social media, if they wanted to go to the YouTube to watch the show, how could they do that?
So Instagram is at circle6.co. Twitter is at circle6_co. YouTube, just, you got to search for it because it's a brand new channel. They won't let me put a channel name on it yet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, what is it, 100 subs or whatever?
Gotcha.
Before you can actually put a name on it. We'll see. Maybe YouTube will get reported as well, and we'll get we'll get banned from there too. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Well, at this point, we're just going to have to build our own system.
I will share it on social media. I'm sure a lot of the guys are going to share the YouTube on social media. And I guess I don't want to put you on the spot here, but you want to make any announcements for anything going forward? And if not, do you want to at least tell me whether or not the next show will be in Cleveland? Because at the end of the show, Atticus said something about Circle Six coming to Cleveland. I mean, that's where I live. That doesn't require a flight. You know, I'm pretty pumped about that if that's the case.
Next show is coming to Cleveland. That'll be at the end of April. We're going to announce that very shortly. I know we're up against the wire, but shockingly, it's been hard to secure a venue in Cleveland. But I think we're going to get there. We're pretty close. We're going to be back in LA too. May will be in LA. June will be in LA. July, August. We're going to be running pretty much every 4 to 6 weeks in LA, and we have some other dates planned in between there as well that people will be surprised about, hopefully pleasantly.
Yeah.
I think we got an Orlando date in there somewhere
Hell yeah.
that we'll announce soon, and probably I think we got a Denver date in there somewhere that we'll announce soon.
Okay.
So,
Wow. A lot of
yeah,
big
we're gonna
news
be
here.
we're gonna be moving around. So everyone will get an opportunity to come see us.
I like the
Hopefully they
sound
will.
of that. Yeah, hell yeah. And I think we're going to have you back on the show every now and then just to give some updates on stuff if you're down with that, because this has been a very insightful interview. I think you answered a lot of questions for a lot of people, and I think people are going to be pumped and excited for everything that's to come in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd definitely love to keep talking. We could do a wrap up after every show that we have and go over all the craziness and debacles that came from it.
I love that. I love the sound of that. And I can't thank you enough for taking a few minutes to talk with me. And I can't wait to see you in the near future and maybe eat some Grill 'em All and watch a movie.
Yes, please. Yeah, I would love that. Let's do it again.
That was the interview with Mike from Circle 6. And I think we learned a lot about Mike. He dropped some knowledge on us about Circle 6 touring throughout 2022. We don't have exact dates just yet, but he did drop some cities. And if you want to find out more about Circle 6, you can find them on social media. And of course, you can go to their website. You will find Circle 6 on the web. Go to Twitter at Circle6_CO to follow them there. You can also follow them over on Instagram. You can find them by simply searching Circle6.co. Of course, go to the website Circle6.co, and you can find out about future dates. You can actually watch the full show up on YouTube right now, and it has been edited very well. I've watched it back, and it is a incredible product. You should go out of your way to watch it, and it's free. It's the first endeavor, and it's free of charge. So many great names on that event.
Get your ass on the ground floor.
Yes.
If you're a wrestling fan, you know the type of the high quality shows that Gregory Iron wrestles on, because you don't go to the not so good ones, right?
I mean, I would if they pay me. Let's not lie to the people here. If you have money and you'll pay me, I will come to your show, no matter how pathetic it is. I won't tell you it's pathetic, but I'm willing to come to your show.
But Circle 6, not the case.
No.
Because Gregory Iron wrestles for Circle 6.
That's right. So check it out. And thank you again, Mike, for taking the time to talk with us. And now, I guess, we talked about it earlier. I want to discuss the retirement of Triple H. But before we do that, I just wanted to mention something to you, Aaron, here on air as an update.
What'd she say?
What?
Huh? Nothing? No results?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. We're good.
Are you referring to someone? I don't know.
What? No, I was looking at my phone.
For what?
Somebody's got me on Snapchat.
Who's that?
Oh, I get so many snaps a day.
Okay. Anyways,
yeah.
So I thought you'd like to hear that Nicole and I decided on matching shirts for Disney, which we're going to at the end of the month, and we have decided on, it's a tough decision. We were thinking about getting these cute little matching shirts where one said salty with a pretzel, because I like pretzels, and one said sweet with a cupcake, because she likes sweets, and they were going to have the Disney font on it. And I kept pitching ideas that she was not particularly crazy for, like a shirt with the Disney D logo, and it says, I have the D, and then she would wear a shirt that says, I like the D.
Yeah.
She didn't like that one. I also found one that said, F COVID, we're not wearing masks anymore, we're going to Disney. She also didn't like those too much, but what we ultimately decided on was 2 matching shirts, double trouble on the shirts, okay? And it's Chip and Dale from the Cartoon Rescue Rangers, and so she's going to wear the shirt that says double, and because she's a twin, so she would be a double, and I'm going to wear the shirt that says trouble because I am indeed trouble, and we're going to wear them together throughout the Disney theme park at the end of the month. How do you feel about that?
This is a thing that you're going to do? This is a real thing that you guys are doing?
Yeah, I'm excited. Are you excited for us?
Okay. I mean, I'm not really that guy that's into matching shirts and things like that with your loved one, or going to Disney World when you're a fully grown adult.
Okay, Aaron's currently
Without a
wearing a
child.
Sesame Street hat. I want to point that
Yes.
out.
Your mom wore a Sesame Street hat.
My mom is dead.
Yep, and you didn't bury her with her Sesame Street hat.
Nope. She was quite the grouch, though. I will say that. And she often smelled like she had just came out of a trash can. But this is about my dead, drug-addicted mother. This is about
What
me
is
and
this
my
about?
beautiful girlfriend
Oh.
going to Disney and matching shirts.
Yeah, I could see it. You guys should have. I would have maybe switched the shirts up, and one shirt would have said "Greg is a bitch," and that would have been the one that Nicole wears, and then the one that you wore is "I'm Greg the bitch,"
I don't like
because
that shirt.
that's what's happened here.
Is it in Disney font?
I guess, man. I was thinking maybe a Tinkerbell on it.
On my shirt?
Yeah.
Why? Is there something like unmasculine about Tinkerbell?
No, you're just really tiny, and so is Tinkerbell.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, this is why you don't have love in your life, okay?
why? Because I won't go to Disney?
Yeah, or wear matching shirts with a girl that actually likes you. Oh, you would have to find a girl that likes you. Because guess who doesn't like you? Jess.
Jess who?
Don't fucking play stupid, you son of a bitch.
Who the fuck is Jess?
You know exactly who it is.
Jess who?
Oh, what's that gift that you gave me to give to her? From
Oh.
The Office. By the
Yeah.
time this is airing, she's
Uh-huh.
already received that gift, and I bet you she reacted poorly to it. Okay?
I bet she loved it.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about my Disney shirts and
I bet your mom would have loved it.
okay. Again,
But
dead,
she's dead.
in the ground,
Yeah, so she can't love it.
looking down towards the ground. Where
She's
deep
looking
underneath
up at
in
you.
hell, she's burning. So, anyways, on to other things. Triple H. Arguably one of the biggest stars in the history of our business. I don't even think that's an arguable point. He is one of the biggest stars in the history of our business. This past week, the Game announced his retirement from professional wrestling, and now I'm going to bring onto the show as we begin to go home here.
Oh my God.
What?
The COO of WWE,
No.
the former multi-time world champion,
He did bring in the Undisputed Championship unannounced, really.
the leader of D-Generation X,
He's
the leader of the corporation,
he was not the leader of the
the
corporation.
leader of the ministry,
Not not
the
true.
leader of the corporate ministry.
He was a member, but I mean, this guest is not a member. You're talking about Triple H, but
I
Yes.
wish I was.
yeah, this individual here, of course, is the returning Ryan Egan, one of our most valued Patreon members and a friend. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Good to have you.
Yeah, good
Ryan-
to see you.
Ryan hasn't been here in a few weeks, but we're glad to have him back. And he immediately
We were supposed to
messaged me.
have him a couple weeks ago,
We were.
but what happened? You got stranded.
I got trapped in LA.
Yeah.
But now I'm back. But to kind of wrap up the show, we're going to talk about this more extensively on the extended version of the podcast, patreon.com/IronOnWrestling. But the announcement of Triple H's retirement kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We knew that he did have an heart issue about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's been very quiet up until his ESPN interview this past week. Talk to me about why you wanted to discuss Triple H and how you felt about the situation once you heard about it.
I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like he deserves to be talked about. Like, he's had an amazing career. He's been, even after he was already kind of like semi-retired, like working in NXT, working with those guys, like he's had a monumental legacy in wrestling.
Yeah.
And him retiring is, you know, it's kind of funny because now all the participants in that end of an era Hell in a Cell match are retired.
I didn't even think about that. Jeez. And I think the worst part about this is, you know, he's retiring not on his own choice. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like it's not. Wasn't up to him. He's not going out on his own terms. And I don't know. I think everyone knew that he had a bad situation with his heart, but I think this kind of caught everybody off guard.
Yeah.
Aaron, I don't know how you felt about it when you heard.
I didn't. I saw he retired, and then I thought, like, wasn't he already retired?
Well, I mean, he was semi-active. You know, he hadn't had like
a one match a year at Mania or something, or at the Saudi show.
Yeah, but
So
like,
I was like, well, he's already retired.
yeah, he was.
I wasn't shocked.
He came out.
He's
once in a while.
he's not gonna wrestle one time this year. That's retired. Well, it just wasn't a big thing to me.
Wow.
I just didn't think he was active, so I thought that was retired. No, you guys think he was what, an active participant?
He was semi-active.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although in kayfabe, Triple H got taken out by Alexa Bliss.
I forgot about that. That's like his last thing that he did on TV, like
Yeah.
almost kind of a match, but not really a match.
Yeah, like
think
when he
his-
was going to have that fight with Orton.
Yeah, I think his last official match was Saudi Arabia. Last on TV was with
Was it?
Orton. I believe so. I know his last official match was a tag match overseas with Shinsuke and Bobby Roode and Ziggler, I think, was the match. Something like that. But I think that Saudi Arabia match is technically his last official match.
I thought the last televised match was against Batista.
But the Saudi match was after that with Randy Orton. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't remember a match with Orton at Saudi.
It happened,
Okay.
for sure.
That's. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not disputing it. I'm just saying I don't remember.
It sounds like you're disputing it, Ryan. I'll look it up here in a second, but I'm pretty sure that's it. But I'm going to read the quote from Triple H, one of the quotes from the ESPN story. My lungs were inflamed, and as the next couple of days went on and I got home, it got increasingly worse. My wife saw some blood and stuff that I was coughing up, and I went and got checked, and it was coming from the viral ammonia, but I had fluid in my lungs. I had some fluid around my heart, so I followed up on it and did an EKG, an echo, and everything. Basically, the way your heart pumps out 55 to 60% of your ejection fraction is a good number. I was at 30%. I got a quick text message saying, don't take time, pack a bag real quick and head to the emergency room, and I'll fill you in on the way. So by the time I got to the emergency room, my ejection fraction had gone down to 22%, which, you know, I was in heart failure. Then, of course, Triple H got a little bit more emotional. Talked about how he was at the 1 yard line in terms of being close to death until a procedure helped save him. And he announced on the show that he was retiring, and I don't know, just a very emotional situation.
The weirdest thing to me was that he said that he has a defibrillator,
Yeah. So
like in his chest.
Mhm.
Like I've heard of like pacemakers,
right.
but I've never heard of somebody having a defibrillator.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously a very serious situation, so serious that he will never be in the ring again. And while I'm upset that he's not going out on his own terms,
He's going out for a good reason.
he's going out for a good reason, but also it seemed like he had come to terms with
Yeah.
it. You know, it seemed like he was okay
Yeah.
with retiring.
Yeah, and I think that's why he probably took so long to like do a sit down interview about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like maybe if he had gotten like a better prognosis, you know, or something, then he would have been like, "Oh no, I'm going to be back in there," you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's probably why it took him so long to finally sit down and talk about it.
Sure.
Was because he had to kind of like get the news, come to terms with it, and then be okay to talk about it.
Right. Triple H debuted in the WWF in 1995. Since debuting, he's had 14 heavyweight championships, and he's had some of the most iconic moments and matches in the history of WWE.
Yep.
And on Patreon, we're going to talk about some of those moments and matches and some of our favorite personal Triple H moments and matches, and just try to cover the spectrum as much as we can. If you want to hear that, you're going to want to sign up for patreon.com/irononwrestling, and we're going to do a deep dive
Yep.
on old Hunter Hearst Helmsley. But until then, we got to wrap up the show. So this has been another great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and Make sure you follow the podcast on social media at Iron on Wrestling. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you download podcasts. Make sure you rank us 5 stars on those platforms and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the show. Obviously, leave a good comment. It helps create visibility for the podcast. Follow me on social media. You can find me at Gregory Iron on Twitter, at Gregory_Iron on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/thehandicappedhero. You can DM me for professional wrestling bookings, motivational speaking engagements, and, of course, pro wrestling seminars, which, again, I loved doing that seminar I did last week at Mega, and I have a lot of my April free. So if you want a seminar at your school in the near future, this is the perfect month to do so. So message me directly or email me at Gregory_Iron@yahoo.com. We will work something out.
Hey, Greg.
What?
I want to book you to come watch WrestleMania.
That potentially could be a thing. How much money do you have?
$20.
Okay, it's gonna take more than that. So
I'll do it.
ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron for all t-shirts, including Iron on Wrestling tees, Aaron McGuire t-shirts. You could also get a Rod Destiny t-shirt over there. Go to my Cameo if you want a Cameo shout-out. Maybe you can't book me for WrestleMania, but I'll give you a WrestleMania shout-out if that's something you're into. So book me for that.
Is that $20?
It's actually $20 exactly.
Sweet.
So there you go. Perfect amount of money for a Cameo. Ryan,
Well, it's
would
just
you like
like-
to... What?
That was like what The Undertaker charged, right?
No, I think he charged like...
1,000.
Was it 1,000?
1,000.
Yeah.
Is he still doing it or no?
No. He did it the one night for his 30th anniversary. He did 30 cameos at $1,000 a pop.
Ridiculous. Ryan, what's your social media?
You can find me on Facebook, Ryan Egan. Just go to Greg's friends list and then you'll find me.
I think I have my friends hidden, so it's going to be a little hard.
Oh, then don't do that. Instagram, the.ideal.husband. Vote for Duran Duran for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
There you go.
And buy Father
I
John
can see
Misty's
that
new
on
album.
Isn't Stevie Nicks trying to get into the Hall of Fame?
No. It was Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
She's not in the Rock
Wait,
and Roll Hall of Fame?
not Stevie Nicks. Pat Benatar. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yep.
Pat
They're
Benatar.
very similar.
Well, they are
Not
both
at all.
women.
Okay, that
In
Wow.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
we're gonna end this with Aaron being sexist.
That's not sexist.
Aaron,
That's I was being
we're both women.
sarcastic.
Aaron, what do you want to plug?
F Air to Air, F Air to Aaron, and Happy Kitty 7183 on the old Yahtzee.
All right, and that is it for the show. Come back again next week. Episode 149 coming
Hey.
up real soon. What?
Put that new Manscaped lip balm on.
Landscape?
Yeah, Landscape.
Landscape. Wow. The main sponsor of the show is going to love you butchering their name. Landscape.com. That's it. Let's get out of here. Kiss goodbye? Okay, that's premature, but okay. You're used to being premature, Aaron.
Oh, sticky.
I'm sure Jess loves hearing all of that.
Don't let haters keep me off my grind. Keep my head up, I know I'll be fine. Keep fighting until I get there. When I'm down and I feel like giving up, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth. Just whip it. I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth. Ladies, if you feel me, come on, do it, whip your hair. Don't matter if it's long, short, do it, whip your hair. I said, ladies, if you feel me, come on, do it, whip your hair. No matter if it's long, short, do it, whip your hair. Your hair. With my hair back and forth, with my hair back and forth. Just whip it. With my hair back and forth, with my hair back and forth, with my hair back and forth. Just whip it real good.